We're now just 2 days away from Saturday's showdown, Wisconsin versus Iowa, 2:30 p.m. on ABC. The Badgers and Hawkeyes compete every year for the Heartland Trophy, but this year's might have a little bit of added importance, seeing that the winning team will keep the trophy for 3 years. Wisconsin and Iowa don't play each other in 2011 and 2012. Head coach Bret Bielema's got a 2-2 record overall against the Hawkeyes, and we were there after Thursday's practice when he talked about this Saturday's game.
As far as the injury-wise, there's a couple guys that got nicked up last week that have been held out of practice so far. I don't know if we're going to be able to get them in. Probably a game-time decision on a couple of them, but they're veteran players, so we'll make some decisions on there. Not going to really talk about who they are, but we're nowhere in the Big Ten season, just ready for our guys to go out and play Saturday. I thought they've handled the week very well off of last week's energy-filled Saturday. I thought they really snapped back in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and had a good practice out there today, so we'll move forward. No questions?
How do you try to replicate that intensity you had them up to last week in practice?
Well, it's the biggest thing we've had to challenge our guys all week about is you're going into a hostile environment. It's a totally different crowd. One against you, one for you, and it's a little bit tough to simulate. One thing we have done in practice, we've had crowd noise blaring all week as loud as we can, constantly. Usually we turn it down in between plays just to try and get some feedback with coaches, but we kept it blaring and realized that that's going to be a big part of the game.
Oglesby cleared to play?
No, Josh is not. He won't play this week, and get some more information in on Sunday.
The more you get in these Iowa-Wisconsin games, do you acknowledge they maybe mean a little more to you?
They do. They always will, Tom, but I really do think since I've been here, it's lessened the effect on me. I think it's very difficult for people around me that were with me during that time, and as I always say, it's harder on my family and my friends. But for me, it's a lot. I mean this 100%. It's a lot like last week. I never worked for Tress, but I respect him a lot, and for me to go against Kirk, that's what it's all about, really. On that staff, Phil Parker and from Reese Morgan, the guys on the offense side of the ball, I just have a lot of respect for what they do.
You guys liked the way your corners played last week, but in some ways, will they have a tougher test this week? Stanzi's having quite a year, and he's got some good guys.
It's a different challenge. I think offensive and defensively, some of the principles winning last week are going to remain the same, but it's a totally different offense and it's a totally different defense. So, but yeah, I think Stanzi's been very accurate. I think he's been very good in his decision making. He hasn't thrown into, some situations that I've seen in the past with him. He's been very good about where he's going with the football and how he's delivering the football.
They traditionally, even though they have to revamp their offensive line some years, with Kurt's back on. How good is that line this year?
Very good. When you watch them, their steps, their hands, their punch. His son, James, is a very good football player. They get on you and they stay on you. I think a lot of times people are always thinking offensive line about big, moving, but a lot of times just who can keep their feet, who can stay engaged and block them longer, and they do a really good job.
The last physical running game you won against Michigan State, probably, what are some things that need to happen maybe that didn't in that game?
From our defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get off blocks. I think that's the big thing is when you're dealing with an offense that likes to run the football downhill or in the gap schemes and stuff that they run, they're going to get a hat on a hat. You have to change the math. And here our coaches talk all the time. You got to change the math. You got to get a guy free so he can make the play. And, the part that's jumped out to me with Robinson for them is how well he breaks tackles. He breaks a lot of tackles. He's a very hard runner. He keeps the legs moving, and it's difficult for him.
Arm tackles.
Yeah, I've seen two plays where big D tackles have broke through the line of scrimmage and put their hat in front, and he just runs right through them. He really is deceptive on how aggressive he is in his running style.
Are you guys playing with the crowd noise as a result of what happened at Michigan State, or just what you're anticipating down there?
It's just a little bit louder. The unique thing to Iowa is the fans are literally 5 feet away from the bench. They're right on top of you. So there's the general crowd noise, but then you also have the guy standing 5 feet behind you who's had a couple extra hours of tailgating that wants to tell you different things.
Tune in to ABC at 2:30 on Saturday for the Wisconsin-Iowa showdown. As always, UWBadgers.com will be there and have complete post-game coverage. Thanks for watching.
Wisconsin basketball tickets on sale now.